I'm going to talk through how to answer the binary search questions you have been set on Teams in the assignment. The first part of the question will tell you what it is that you're looking for. So the question is, which items are examined when I look for 18? Underneath that you have a table with some data in it. Now the table of data, the data is sorted into ascending order, so that's the smallest first going up to the largest number. The index, which is the darker yellow on top, that tells you what index point each of those data items are at. So the first item of the list, the number 10, is at index 1. The last item on the list, which is number 55, is at index point number 10. The table you need to fill in is to show what steps occur when searching for the number 18. So you're going to fill in the different boxes as you go through. So step 1, in the first column we need to write down what the index is of the front of the list. So because we have the whole list here to start with, the first index is number 1. The rear of the list, so that is the end of the list, again we have the whole list currently, so the end of the list is number 10. So now we need to work out what the middle of the list is. Now to do this we need to add together the front and the rear index. So we're going to add together these two numbers, so 1 added to 10. And then we perform the div function, div2. Now this is not just a straightforward divide. This is where we divide the number by 2 and we take away anything after the decimal point. So here we go. So 11, which is, so 1 and 10 is 11. 11 div 2 means 11 divided by 2, which is 5.5. Now ignore anything after the decimal point, so the answer is just 5. And we can see that here, so 1 plus 10 div 2 equals 5. So we're going to look at the index point 5 and write down in the next box what data we are looking at. So at number 5 we're looking at 32. So now we ask the question, is what I'm looking for higher or lower or the same? So we're looking at 32, we're looking for number 18. Is that higher or lower? It's lower. So we're going to cross out everything that's at 32 and above. Now I'm just going to shade those out. Okay, so now our list looks a lot shorter. So our next step, we've finished that row, so we're going to write down now for step 2. So again, what's the index at the front of the list? Well, the front of the list is still got the number 1 there, so we write the number 1 in that box. Now this time the rear of the list, the end of the list, is actually number 4, that is the last item, so we write the number 4 here. So now we need to find the middle of the list, and we do the same sum again. We're going to add 1 and 4, which gives us 5, and if we divide 5 by 2 we get 2.5, but because we ignore anything after the decimal point we just have the number 2. So we look at index 2. What's at point 2? So at 2 is the number 11, so we write the number 11 in the box. Is 18 higher, lower or the same? It's higher, so we cross out 11 and below. And again, this time I'm just going to shade them out. So we have 2 items left on our list. So step 3, we write down what is the start and the end of the list, the front and the rear. So that is 3 and 4. And although it seems a bit ridiculous, we need to know which item we have to look at first. So we add 3 and 4 together, which gives us 7. div 2 is 3, because 7 divided by 2 would be 3.5, so we ignore the half, we just have number 3. So when we're at the number 3, we look at the number 18. So is it higher, lower, or the same? Well, it's the same. We found it. Okay, so number 3, at index point 3, was the number 18. So we wouldn't need to fill in anything on step 4, because in this instance we found it, so we don't need to go any further. There is no step 4. So if when you're answering these questions you find you've got 1 or maybe 2 steps that have nothing in because you found the number, don't worry about it. Okay, I hope you found that useful and you can now have a go at answering those questions yourself.